Hey guys, Dustin with the PPC Pros doing this quick video. This is one of the videos, I don't know if this will be the first one or not, that we're going to do on conversion rate optimization and some basic things that'll help get your Google ads performing better and all traffic sources depending on where you implement some of these things. So I decided to take this like one topic at a time, one idea at a time, break it into I don't know how many videos yet, and then make it super actionable and really helpful and show you some examples the best I can. So the first one I want to talk about is live chat. Live chat sounds like something from 1996, right? Something that people talked about has never really caught on for the mainstream. I can't say that 100% a lot of people use it successfully, but it seems like people discount the value of live chat. And so what I want to do is talk to you about a couple of different kinds of live chat. I'm going to show you one that works really well for local businesses, tour operators, service-based businesses, and talk about and options for e-commerce too. So really quickly, the idea behind live chat a lot of times is that people want to either get a simple question answered or find something out without having to go through the typical options you provided for them. So if you're a local company, a service-based business, a tour company, typically your options are call me, fill out a contact form, maybe make an appointment, or maybe book a tour. If you're e-commerce, it's typically maybe contact form, almost never phone call, but it depends on the product, or buy something, right? And so in the middle of those things, you've got people who don't want to invest the time into trying to figure out how long it's going to take to hear back from you. You know, do you answer your phone? Do you ever call back? Like that sort of thing. And so live chat is a great way to bridge the gap between people who want an answer now and your company, who can hopefully have a much easier time getting back to people and turning them into customers, basically. So let's talk about two different options here. We have nowadays, there's a text-based live chat, which I'm a huge fan of, and we use it for some of our clients, as many as I can. And there's the web-based version, which is what you probably already know about when you go to an e-commerce store most of the time, and there's a web-based, fill out your name and maybe your email, and what's your question, right? And you hit send, and then hopefully there's somebody that's available to take your question and respond to you. But a lot of times, believe it or not, there isn't. People put that on their website and there's nobody there to man it. And so I think that's a really big issue, especially with e-commerce, if you don't have staff to manage it. And so the text-based works really well from a local business service perspective because it gives you more options on how to handle manning that chat. So really quickly, for e-commerce, I think the text-based chat, which basically I'll talk about it right now. Actually, it's when somebody let's look at our website. So on our website right now, we use the text-based chat, and right here you can see a beautiful picture. There's a lovely guy here, and it just says, "Have a question? Text us." And so when somebody fills out this little widget, they're going to put a name. We could collect an email if we wanted to. I don't really need that. A name, phone number, and a message, and it says, start a text chat here. We're not hiding the fact that somebody's going to fill out this form. It's going to become a text chat. So what happens is they fill out this form, they hit send, and it just says, thank you, whatever, thank you message. And then on my end, what happens is I get a notification, in this case on my desktop, and I use our mobile app, so I can respond as I would to a regular text message from my phone, which is the most convenient option, and it helps you when you're dealing with an issue of who's going to man this thing. If it's on their phone, if it's on their desktop, it's kind of easy to have multiple people do that. Especially for service businesses where you're not behind a desk all day. But anyway, so what happens is I get a notification and it has that person's message and their phone number, and then we'll either set up an automation that says, instantly, like say within 30 seconds of them doing that, it might say, "Hey, I got your text, I'll respond to you in just a few, I'm wrapping up this video on YouTube," or something like that. Could say whatever we want. Buy a little bit more time. A lot of times we'll also say, "Hey, I'll give you a call back from our main number." And that main number might be the number that, in our case, our clients would normally be calling from, because the phone number that we're going to text them from is usually not their landline. And that'll help. It'll help basically the contact rate for those people who are filling out this chat to, sometimes our client just calls them rather than text them back. And that'll help them basically warm them up to that phone number. In any event, what happens is once they submit that and I respond to it, it's going to start a text message conversation back and forth. So the customer just gets a text on their phone from our number, our system. So to them, they're just texting us back and forth. On our end, there's a little bit more going on, but the simplicity of it is that When it comes to local type businesses, service businesses, things like that, and I'll show you this with real stats in a minute, a lot of times people don't want to wait to try to pick up the phone and call you. Sometimes they're at work. We know that a lot of local businesses do not respond to their contact forms, so you could say they could fill out a form, but you guys don't respond to them most of the time anyway, so what's the point? And unfortunately, a lot of times when they call you guys, they don't get an answer. So, you're kind of leaving people disillusioned with those options many times. And this gives them another reason or another way to reach out. And if they're working and they're busy and they can't really be on the phone with you, if you call them back, even in 5 minutes, this gives them an option where they can get the info that they wanted while they're at work, while they're dealing with the kids, whatever, and be able to respond in a way that's convenient for them. The other part of it, when we compare this text-based chat to a web-based live chat, and just to be clear, both options work better than having nothing. So I'm not against either one. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'll probably go into a video in more detail later about the differences, but I'll probably touch on some of them here. We'll see. With web-based, if I were to come to your website, let's say this is my website, somebody comes here and they do a web-based chat, and I'm not available to respond to them in a minute, 2 minutes, maybe 3, they're gone forever. And yes, maybe I captured their email when they filled out the live chat form, but we know what the deliverability rate and the contact rate and the open rate is for email. It sucks. And also, if you take that long to respond to them, or it takes them that long to see your email, chances are they might go on to another provider. So for e-commerce, I do think the web-based could work better. I'm not 100% certain of that. It depends on the situation. And depends on how often do people reach out to your company before they order online. If you're B2B, a lot of times people want to talk to somebody first. If it's just simple products B2C, then maybe you're better off with the web-based. But with the web-based, people might be on the product page that you want, that they're looking at. They're maybe not as willing to give a phone number because they really don't expect to talk to anybody. So there's things like that where it might work better to do web-based. I would say it's good to test both. Maybe try a text-based solution for a week. See if your number of chats go down. See if you have better luck or if you have a preference. So that's the difference between the two. With the text-based, the reason why I'm a fan of it is because, if people leave this page before I can respond, I've got a phone number where I'm not going to spam them, but I could at least message them. And if they're busy because their day happened to them, just like my day happens to me and I couldn't get to them, then we can still interact when it's convenient for both of us in a medium that's very non-invasive. It's very unintimidating. People can text, they can ask their questions very to the point. They don't have to feel like they need to be ready on a phone call or be, checking their inbox. It's just a better medium. Now, in terms of how this can work well, I'm going to show you some stats for a local business that has, they spend about $12,000 a month on advertising, so they're not huge, they're not small, and they have a pretty high-end service. And before they were doing this chat, let me pause for a second here. Okay, I'm back. So before they were doing this live chat thing with us, they weren't doing any at all. And we were getting basically, I don't think we saw a decrease in the other kinds of leads we were getting, which were phone calls or request a quotes or contact forms. We didn't really see a drop there. It's not like people went from one to the other. We saw mainly an increase in conversions. So this is why it's showing up. But I'm just going to share with you some of the conversion stats for their different conversion actions in their campaigns. So I'm not showing you who they are, obviously, but they spend about $12,000. This is a 30-day window. And you can see right here, calls from ads, they got 6 of them. That's pretty low, actually. Contact form submissions, they got 36 of them. All right, going to have to edit that out at the top. But live chat, they got 46. And then phone calls. Phone calls was their main action before. They got 83 of them. And then a couple, what we call rapid quotes, kind of like a more in-depth contact form. But right here, 46, that's 1.5 a day live chats. And it's not like the lead quality from these were any worse. These scheduled just as well. They converted just as well on the back end. And the beauty of it is when you think about a contact form submission or even a phone call, if you don't answer it, I'm talking about. A contact form submission, half the battle is getting a hold of the person, right? If you get their contact form submission today, or I say right now, it's amazing how many people you call right away and they don't answer. And then you got to call them back again. And you got to try them again. You got to leave a voicemail again. Why? Because a lot of times people do not pick up a phone number that they don't recognize, which once again, with the text-based live chat option, I like it because we can tell them the number we're going to call from, or it's going to be the number we're texting from. So there's a much lower chance of them not knowing it's us. So in terms of conversion rate optimization, this is a twofold thing, right? If we're talking about live chat in general, the fact that you give people more options for how to communicate with you is only going to increase the number of people you talk to or serve, the number of people you could potentially sell your products or your services to. That's a no-brainer. Give them more options is the key thing to think about there. And then in terms of contact rate, so once you've, somebody's engaged with you, what about getting back to that person, actually reaching them? What about actually communicating, right? If they fill out a web-based live chat and you never respond to it and you never are able to reach them, yeah, you might say we got an extra conversion, we got an extra live chat out of it, but it didn't turn into a person. It wasn't like you had a sale or a customer. You had an opportunity that you missed. But we're talking about what turns into money more often. It's not just about what looks good in a report. We had 80 live chats this month, but we only connected with 20 people. Well, okay, that's not really that helpful. At least we got 20 of them. But if we can get 40 out of those 80 or 60 out of those 80, then that's way better, right? So it's both a mix of how many people can you talk to or give a chance to communicate with more often, and then how many of those people can you actually reach if you don't get them on the first pass. And also, how can we reach out to them again? How easy is it? And that's a whole other conversation for automation later. But hope this was helpful. If you guys have used live chat, found it to be helpful, or maybe you found that it sucked for some reason or another, I'd love to hear about it. Comment below, post, comment, click, wherever you're seeing this. And I'd love to get your feedback. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.